self-deprecating comments about myself, but man, did I have a dumb moment. I really acted like, I've been telling my mom, I have this like gray hat with a fun colorful pom-pom and I can't find it anywhere. I scoured my parents' place when I've been there. I had looked at my coat rack and my entryway drawer. I felt like I had looked everywhere. Obviously, it being in my hand, you're wondering, where did you possibly find this hat, Caitlin? Winter gear. Do you see that label right there? It was where it should have been all along. But in my head, I told myself I had already seen this like outside of its box recently. But I fully made that up. I put a fake memory in my head. Weeks I've been talking about this hat. Weeks. Arguably maybe over a month. I also found these gray mitts in the box that seemed boring, but bam, taxi. So when I have them on, it's like, huh, taxi. Not that I ever actually call a taxi like that. I think I've done that once in my life. Otherwise it's Ubers and Lyfts and let me look at my phone to see if they're around kind of vibes, which I don't think you can communicate in a glove. I'm doing the same lip combo I showed you guys the other day with the Rare Beauty and Ilia lipstick. It's a really long lasting combo, but I think I'm also gonna throw in some Too Faced lip injection. I've been loving adding this as a good top layer to a lot of lip colors because it just kind of gives it a little life. The last month I've just been really having a lot of fun with makeup. I've got a couple new things and I think as someone who just keeps my makeup routine pretty consistent, it's fun to just throw in a wild card in the form of neutral lip colors. Wilma really do be invading this corner these days. When I did go on that adventure, I did find myself miraculously, I don't know how, at a Home Sense. I went to one that was a little bit different than one I typically go to, and there I found this Book Nook that was pretty discounted. And what the great story is about this Book Nook is earlier in the week I had been at a Toronto store seeing a ton of these Book Nooks on display, and they were like $59.99, and I thought to myself, you know, I've always wanted to get one of these and build them myself. I've talked about these on the internet and I've seen a lot of people build these specific ones from Rolife, but I saw the price and was like, you know what, I don't know, I don't trust myself enough to build this right away to justify spending, you know, $60 on a really like intricate puzzle. But then at Home Sense I saw the exact one, the same one I was looking at that I would have bought at regular price, and it was $39.99. So I immediately picked it up. I felt like that was a sign. I managed to grab some clips of me building it, but this is the finished product, and how incredible is that? It's just so intricate and so detailed. Is it perfectly built? Absolutely not. Like, it's one of those situations where please squint when you're looking at it so that it just looks perfect. But I feel like it came together more beautifully than I anticipated, and something I'm proud to include on my bookshelf. Wasn't all fun and games though, so I want to share my experience with you so that you know if you're gonna get one of these, what you're getting into. First of all, it's about a 6 to 8 hour commitment. I think it took about 8 hours to complete this. So I wouldn't start this when you're not like kind of prepared to put in a good dent into your first session, because that first session is critical for making you like excited to keep going. And on that note, if you're someone who hates like building IKEA furniture, I don't think you're the type of person that would really enjoy this. Maybe I'm wrong, but the instructions are not super detailed. So there were times where I had to go online just to kind of get some more information from other people who had done it. Particularly when it came to the electrical, I found the instructions just, I wasn't reading it in a way that made sense. So I watched someone do it, and as you can see, it does turn on. Now, this button is supposed to turn it off. It did right now, but sometimes it doesn't, and I don't know why. So sometimes I have to go like underneath and click the sensor that's underneath there and do it like that, but other than that, it's working. After the first 2 hours of building this and I was using the glue that it came with, I was having major regrets. I did look online. Some people do have issues with the glue if it's like dried up or if it's gone through temperature changes. It can make the glue like just harder to work with. So I did go out and buy myself some new glue. This was like less than $5, so not a huge dent, but something to consider if you're buying one of these, especially at full price, that you probably are gonna wanna get another glue. And this is the Aleene's Premium Original Tacky Glue. Works for multiple surfaces because you need something that works with wood. This kind of saved the project for me because once I started using this, we kept moving. So the Book Nook is definitely Caitlin approved, but I definitely think it's approved for the right type of person, and also if you've got the right glue, because otherwise this project would have been in jeopardy. I've noticed it for a bit lately, but HomeSense has really been stepping up their book game. There's a lot of newer releases that they're carrying in store for heavy discounts. So I found The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. This is not a new release. I think it came out 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. Regular $42, and I did look online on Amazon. It's like regular 40 bucks for me to get this in hardcover. I don't even think it comes in paperback, but $24.99. $24.99. This book is all about creativity. Each chapter is focused on like a subcategory of that. So this one's about experimentation, this one's about habits, but they're really short and kind of have like this poetic language to them. So to me, this doesn't feel like a book that I'm gonna read start to finish. It's gonna be a book that I come to when I'm feeling a little unmotivated and I need to not doubt myself, or I need to overcome like a mental block in my creative process. I'm really curious to see what wisdom is within this one. I feel like I've heard good things. While I have you, I'm gonna unbox or unpackage this special package I received in the mail. Now, you may remember during my holiday gift guide, I talked about these challenges, these virtual challenges you could do that are walking based challenges. And at the end, after you've signed up for a challenge and you complete the challenge, you get sent a medal for accomplishing it. And this one is so beautiful. Oh my God, look how incredible this medal is. I'm so amazed by how high quality the medals are. So this was a 52 mile or 84 kilometer challenge that I had to do. Felt like it was a great way at the beginning of the year just to kind of motivate me to get walking. I feel like walking can sometimes just like not get appreciated enough for being a great form of exercise and movement. And I think this idea, this concept for like motivating people to walk is so unique. I love being able to follow along on the app to see where on my route I was at in Alberta. That's where Banff is located. Wow, it's just so pretty. Oh my gosh. Eventually I want to go to Banff as well. I've heard it's absolutely stunning. I just turned 28 and there are things that you just start thinking about around your birthday. One of the things that comes to mind is just like really redefining or creating a new relationship, a new enthusiasm with my healthy habits, because I think it's important to kind of keep the spark alive in them. So this was a fun way to do that with walking. They have challenges that are located in so many places around the world. They do really fun ones, like there's even like new Harry Potter ones, Lord of the Ring ones, really something for everyone. So I'll include a link in the description box below. But also this new water bottle, speaking of healthy habits and redefining my relationship with them, has also been helping out with my hydration goals. I love the colorway on here, and that was important to me, is to pick something that just makes me feel happy and excited to bring it along with me wherever I go. Kind of upset that I joined the Owala trend because I have resisted many of water bottle hype, but I was due for a new water bottle in this instance, so I'm pretty happy with this one. But by no means do I think you have to buy new things to take on healthy habits or to reinvent your relationship with them. I think just even making small switches in your routine and be even more of a powerful motivator. One thing I'm trying to do right now with my daily morning pages, because I have been a little bit inconsistent with them in 2025, is to start writing them in new locations. Like even on my couch, there's one spot, typically like over here that I'm looking at, that I write my morning pages. So the other day I thought, let me sit on the other side of the couch. It's an area of the couch that I know it sounds ridiculous that I never sit in. I feel like we always create our own little spots in our home of where we typically hang out. Like especially if you live with someone else or your family, you tend to have unofficial assigned seating at the dinner table or on the couch. Just changing those areas you designate as yours and trying a new perspective, like physically it's trying a new perspective, because all of a sudden you're seeing your regular space in angles that you don't typically, even though it's the same space, it's a new way of seeing them. Again, even if it's minute, it is shocking what a difference that makes. I do want to make a point of being more consistent with switching up my patterns in my routines that already exist, like journaling in different areas around my apartment, even on the floor. Maybe I never journal on the floor, but that could be a move. Or instead of doing a workout in my kitchen, maybe I move my coffee table and do it on the carpet in my living room. You might be listening to this being like, really, will that make much of a difference? But I think it does. I do think we get into a little bit of autopilot mode with how we do the day-to-day. And I think back to breaking the habit of being yourself the book that I read last year by Joe Dispenza. He says that 90% of the thoughts that we have today are the same thoughts that we had yesterday, which means like we're just constantly running the same programming. And I think just a subtle shift like that can help shake your head out of that autonomous way of thinking and being and living your life. I'm gonna catch you up on the current state of affairs in my household right now. 1, I have a strong desire to make fresh pasta. 2, I have ricotta that's going to expire tomorrow. And 3, I have 1 single egg in my fridge. 4, because I know someone will say, hey, why don't you just go get more eggs? Because this seems like not a good path to go down. It is also a major snowstorm outside. So going to get more eggs is absolutely not an option. Waiting until I'm able to get eggs tomorrow to try this is definitely an option, okay? But I feel like it's not. I'm gonna make a small batch in my head. This is my intention, a small batch of ricotta ravioli. That's it, that's actually my only plan. I've done about 10 minutes of research. I feel way too optimistic that I can pull this off. And I'm not sure it's gonna be worth the effort for such a small batch. Here we go. ChatGPT says I need 90 grams of flour for this. So let's measure that out. I also need a pinch of salt. I have no idea what this whisk is called, but you're gonna hear me talk about this all the time this year because it is my new favorite whisk. From my understanding, we're just gonna plop this on my surface and then I make a little well. We plop the egg in. Wow. You're just supposed to like whisk the egg and bring the flour in until you make some sort of dough. All the Italians are watching me in disgust right now. And to that I say, I get it. I do feel like something's starting to happen though. Do you feel like this is a task for my scraper? I think I'm ready for this to sit because when I push it down, it does spring back. My dough has been sitting for about 30 minutes and we're just gonna start rolling. I know I'm gonna want this pretty thin. Very, very small. It's moments like this where I kind of wish I would have just gone out and bought more eggs. This is the current state of my dough. I don't know how much more thin I can get it, but I'm gonna let it sit here for just a few moments while I work on the filling. Now, I don't think I'm gonna need a ton of filling because I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of ravioli. Makes me really upset because I wish I had more eggs because I think this is gonna work out. I just think I probably don't have enough to make like a good healthy batch. But that's okay, this is like a trial round. My filling is gonna be really simple. It's just gonna be a little bit of ricotta and some lemon zest. And then I'm also going to try and put this in a Ziploc bag so I can pipe it. Because I think I'm gonna need some really tiny raviolis and I just feel like I can control it better in a Ziploc. I'm gonna do like a quarter lemon zested, just mashing that all together. Smells lemony. Into the Ziploc this goes, and there you go. Little piping bag of ricotta. Oh, I'm excited. Do you think it's getting a little bit bigger? Okay, guys, I think it's getting really thin. And I'm excited about this. Okay. See, when in doubt, sometimes it just works out. How many do I realistically have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe? Is that the move? Or do I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Can I get 10? 1? I think it makes more sense to do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, does that work? So how do you close ravioli?
Hold the other side of the rectangle over the filling and press the ravioli closed with your fingers.
This doesn't seem right. Maybe I just won't do squares. You know, maybe that's not what's destined for me. Okay. That one doesn't look bad. Can confirm. 2, 4, 6. We've got 7 raviolis and some scraps that we're gonna boil anyways. What would be my best one? I think this one's my best one, which is not saying much, but you know what? This technique I think wasn't helped by the fact that I was really trying to reserve how much pasta dough I was using so I could squeeze out some, but they're pretty full of ricotta. They're pretty plump. Very nervous about these raviolis breaking apart in the water. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Nothing's broken apart yet, so Look at my little raviolis. They're doing so well. I do think the dough could have gone a little thinner. I don't know how much you can actually achieve on your own with that, because I know people use like pasta presses or pasta rollers to get it super thin. So I'd have to look up some like techniques on maybe how to do that with a rolling pin. Also, I don't know why I didn't season the ricotta more. I just kind of put lemon in it. I should have put like salt and pepper because it's a little bland. Surprise, they all held up really nicely. They didn't like burst in the water. I'd say it's a solid 6 out of 10. And I feel like that's a great starting point for my first attempt at ravioli. My first ever fresh pasta, especially out of these dire circumstances with 1 egg and limited dough. I think I achieved great things. 28 and thriving. I am. It sounds silly, but like I'm just really proud of myself for tackling that today. There's a lot of reasons why I didn't have to, or I could have justified not. And it was something new. It made dinner definitely like a longer of a task because I was doing something a little bit out of my comfort zone and learning as I go. But sometimes it's nice not to be on autopilot making dinner, you know, to say, no, today we're gonna try something I've never done before, and next time I do it, I'll have a little bit more of an understanding of what I'm doing. On days of the week, it's obviously not always practical to say, let's make fresh pasta from scratch. Like I understand how unrealistic that can be, but I think there's such beauty in like trying new things and yeah, changing up your routines, which kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier in today's video. I'm gonna do some chillaxing though. I'm reading right now Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I managed to get it right away from the library, so I feel like I won the waitlist games. And I have my cute little February cover on. There's a version I have on my Kindle as well. I just have a lot of fun designing these. Like this one is filled with all these different tropes like fake dating and miscommunication, but the miscommunication is a letter addressed to Miss Communication. It's a long story, slow burn, spicy, romance reader-esque type things. If you want to check them out, there's links down in the description box below. Unsure though about my thoughts on Deep End. It's a romance between a diver and a swimmer, so 2 people that spend time in pools. Deep End. Very strange character dynamic in this one. There's no love triangle, but it's a weird situation. Thank you for spending time with me today. 28 is off to a great start so far. Got some creative juices going, trying new things, getting back into healthy habits. Always so much to appreciate every year, and I am really grateful for those of you who are here and put up with me week after week. Just it really means a lot. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.